the shark game is. What is the shark game you speak of?
That you didn't send
There's
to me.
Yeah, I did. It's a very adult shark game.
No, you didn't.
It's a game where you have sex with a shark.
How did you not send this to me?
I did send it to you.
No, you didn't.
Why would I not send you a game about
just
having
scrolled
sex
up.
with a shark?
Bro, I just scrolled up for like 5 days, and it
We
wasn't
talked a
in the
lot.
past
It
5
was
days. of
probably
our conversation.
longer ago. Has anybody seen the shark sex game in Steam?
Hang on.
The shark sex game? This is the first I've heard of it. Starwind, please elaborate on the shark sex game.
I still don't see it. I've scrolled up quite a bit.
Keep scrolling. It's
We're
there.
down to mid-May. I'm in mid-May.
Wow, good
No,
podcast.
You're in
it's
mid-
not
you're
very
in
long. It's
mid-May?
actually porpoise sex, not
Wow.
shark sex.
Good
So you gotta make sure
podcast.
to
I'm
keep an eye out for
interested
that.
now. This is not going in the
found a-
upload. This is stream
Dinosaur? Is it this
podcast.
dinosaur DNA thing?
Dinosaur DNA?
Is it this? Yeah, is it this dinosaur DNA science thing?
Maybe.
Is it?
Hold on. RE to it with so it'll show up and I can click it. I'm in Discord looking at the chat.
This is the closest thing that I found in the past like 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's it.
Starwind, did you add wind to this world?
That is not a shark. That's a dinosaur.
What is the difference?
I was here for sharks, man. Like,
What is the
Oh,
difference in
one's
between
an
sharks
aquatic
and dinosaurs?
creature.
Female
You know?
dolphin, but a male
They're
dolphin
all-
one's a
will
prehistoric
sheer force of
animal.
its ejaculate.
I mean,
One of them's
hold on,
fucking dead
hold on.
because they're bad.
Sharks are
yeah,
prehistoric
one of them has
too.
their own dedicated week, and it's not the dinosaurs.
You know, I can't even argue anymore. Wolf's is right. I was gonna argue because the sharks are at least prehistoric, but no, they don't have Dino Week, do they?
They don't have that.
No.
No.
This is
That is
unfortunate.
correct. It would have
Buy dino
survived.
crap though.
You can't
but
see
that's,
Sumachi because of Wolf's
Happy
feet.
Gay Month. Happy Gay Month. Move your
Yay!
fucking feet.
Happy Gay Month.
These are my
Wolf, you
can't
have
see
to
me.
move your
The
feet.
camera
We
can't
can't see
see me.
Sumachi.
Happy Gay Month.
I'm no longer
you
reading
allowed
chat.
to
We're
come
officially
out
starting
of
the
the
podcast.
closet?
I'm ignoring you, Impact.
All of you are allowed out of the closet. You have 30 days.
Impact, are you coming out of the closet yet?
Sure, 30 days of legally mandated gay.
Oh, I need to turn off that multi-link too. There is no multi-link.
Is that how it
Get it out
works
of your
now? You just
system.
get
Yeah.
30 days. That's it. And then you have to go back
They put you back in. Then you go back.
Yeah.
You get back in.
back to the closet.
And then everyone
Back to
just
the
forgets.
The 30
It's
days.
kind of like
of
the
gay.
purge, but for gay.
30 days gay.
Gay purge. 30 days.
All right, so
Starwind, is there universal wind in this world?
universal wind?
Yeah.
No, there's
No,
solar
it's
wind.
Starwind.
Solar wind.
Starwind.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why are you
Is there
smiling?
wind blowing your boobs?
Yes.
Because they're just jiggling
They've
for
been
like
moving
no
non-stop
reason.
since I sat down. Yeah.
Just perpetual.
It just
Yeah,
won't
I think
stop
I can-
moving.
Oh wait, no, I don't want to go there.
Just don't
Oh,
calibrate your body.
accidentally recalibrate.
And don't.
Yeah, well, I wasn't.
Starwind-
I was gonna
Starwind,
switch my
stop
outfit,
smiling.
but it's
It's
also
not that funny.
dangerously close to the
Oh, am I
naked button.
perma smiling? Tell me I'm not perma. Oh no, I'm not perma smiling.
You-
Okay.
You are on my screen.
I guess I
If you're
can
not on
step out of
your
Yeah,
frame
yeah.
and change, and then I'll be right back.
Your like eyes are closed and you're just perma smiling.
That's so weird. I'm looking at
It's okay.
the camera of the podcast. Yo, stream, am I smiling? I'm not smiling, am I?
As long as he's not smiling on his end.
Yeah, that's weird that I'd be emoting on y'all's end, but not mine. But that's all right. All right, so we're on episode 2 of the podcast. We have Wolves. You want to introduce yourself since you're like the not new person here?
I'm the temp. Hi, I'm attacked by wolves. I played a fuck ton of Population 1, and I've been playing VR since the OG Vive, so I've been around.
The OG Vive.
Yep. With
And-
the wands.
Did you actually like those? Or are you like happy to be away from
No,
them?
they're god awful. Like I was
Yeah.
fine with them when I had them, and then I learned that, and then I got the index controllers. So I was like, I can't believe I lived like that
Love
for
the
so
wands.
long.
Yeah, I've actually talked to people that
Who
prefer
liked
them, and I'm
them?
like, Oh, dude. I've talked to like two. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
I
say
know.
there's a lot of
This
people. I've talked
guy.
to 2 people ever that preferred them, and I'm just like, holy shit, dude, these are terrible. I don't know why you'd prefer it.
Right,
Then you
right.
meet the comp people that want one wand and one index controller.
Yeah, that's real. That's real crazy. I mean, I guess I could see that there's a purpose for it, but like if you ever try and walk with that touchpad, man, it is rough. Like I tried to play zombies
Yeah.
with somebody, and yeah, they were struggling because you just don't have the.
Yeah, when
Index
I
are
had
made
to
so
RMA
cheaply.
When I had to RMA my index, I had to go back to the wands for population 1. Absolute nightmare. It was like because you change your weapons
And you
using
don't get
the
stick
trackpad
drift.
as well, and then like you'd start trying to res, and population 1 was not built for the Vive one, so you'd be like clack 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 while you're trying to wind up your battles.
Oh, because they're like smashing
I
into each
couldn't
other.
imagine using. I couldn't imagine
Yeah,
using this
yeah.
big thing. Yeah, because they're just basically just doing that, and you're just whacking the ends of the things together. I bet you lose tracking all the time doing that.
That's one thing
They
that'll be
actually
cool
track
about
pretty well.
Cambria is it
The-
doesn't have any
Oh.
anything on it at all. Like there's nothing, no ring.
Oh
of any
really? I
kind.
thought the Cambria's. Yeah, it doesn't have the camera tracking on the controllers now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're
So there's no
individual-
ring.
Like they have cameras on them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just
It doesn't
built
have the
onto the
ring, though.
controller.
Yeah,
I
that
think
way
that
so the
was a worthy
scalpers can
change
charge an
for-
extra $200 per
Yeah.
controller whenever you start breaking them.
Exactly. I feel like the controls would be a lot more expensive like that.
They will.
As long as the
Plus, yeah,
thumbsticks are
higher
fixed.
Well,
Please.
as things
They
are
won't be
now,
these.
they evidently break so much that they're out of
You see
stock.
this? You see this? Save me from this.
The
Save me
Cambria?
from this hell.
No, the
this?
Oculus controllers.
You see this? You see
Hello.
this stick drift? Stop this.
They still break less than the index controllers, but they break enough that
True.
they can't keep them in stock. So you can't buy a new one for $80. You have to buy like a scalped price one for 200 or 150.
Man, at that point.
Because I know a couple
Sorry,
people with
that's it.
broken ones right now, and
Mm.
they can't really. There's not really any good options out there.
I know a couple people who broke them and they just bought a new headset.
That's
Yep,
pretty much
I've known
almost as
people do
cheap
that
because
too.
if you need
Yeah.
more than one, you literally are paying the price of a headset for those 2 controllers, which is
I don't know.
Then
By
you
the
have
time
a-
you,
then-
by the
Speaking,
time you buy
um,
2, well, depends if you have a PC, but by the time you have you've bought 2 quests, right? You're up to $600. You could have bought a one of those refurbished indexes for 700. And if the thumbsticks ever go bad, you can just
If
go
you
order
have the
something from
computer.
iFixit. Yeah,
Yeah,
I said that
exactly.
beforehand. If you have a computer, whole different
That is the
category
one
if you get an
exciting
computer.
thing, about the direction Valve's going. Like, I don't know if you know, but the Steam Deck, like, they have full-on specs and replacement parts available in like a partnership through iFixit, just the whole 9 yards, to ensure that their stuff.
Yeah,
is as
actually,
flexible
it's
as possible.
it's for all of Steam Valve's products. It's
Oh,
literally
really?
like
They
the
do
whole
that for the
shebang.
index controllers
Yeah,
now?
yeah, they
it's
carry
for everything.
index
You can,
parts.
because one thing I was
That's
super excited
exciting.
about because I wanted to try this. You can take the index headpiece, like the with the ears pieces and whatnot. You can buy that whole thing and put it on. I was wanting to put it on a Quest.
Yeah, they do something similar like that with the old deluxe audio strap for the Vive, the Franken Quest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those,
they even have
that audio is
tutorials on there
terrible
now
though.
on how to fix it yourself. So
Compared
it's
to
all
the
like
Index,
fix it.
yeah.
They'll sell you the parts and give you the tutorial all in one place, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if the analog sticks
That's
aren't
pretty.
like consumer replaceable, it's still kind of like a moot point for a lot of people. Especially index, because those I think are soldered. At least the
Oh.
Steam Deck I think is on a flex cable, and so are like Nintendo Joy Cons. As long
Yeah,
as you
mhm.
can swap it out with a flex cable instead of solder, then you're good. But they'll have to redesign these to be
Mm.
flex cable replaceable.
How
Yeah,
much are you
depends
willing to
on
bet
how
that the reason
technically-
they've made such an effort into going for the right to repair stuff is because they've spent an obscene amount of money on RMAs.
Oh yeah, so did Nintendo.
I'm sure
Probably.
any money they probably spent, like any money they've gained from like producing the index, they probably lost in replacing its parts. I'm sure.
I've definitely
Just
played
like
Franken
here,
like 6 or 7
fix it
times,
yourselves.
yeah. Mhm.
I mean, to be fair, they only have to replace the thumbstick, and then those are refurbished controllers, right? So in reality, they're kind of only paying for shipping as soon as they replace the thumbstick.
Yeah, that is the
And
only
they probably
part
don't
that
even
ever
do it
goes bad.
themselves.
Like,
They just pay a company to like handle the whole thing. They probably pay them like a
Mhm.
flat contract fee. You know, it's like, hey, we'll pay you, $5 million to take care of all these repairs. Have a nice day. That's how Nintendo
But
does it.
anyways,
Yeah.
let's talk
Yeah,
about the
there's-
topics today before we get
Spend another 30
hours
minutes
into
on
one
Jay.
task.
Controllers.
6 hours into the podcast. Yeah, we can talk about VR forever, guys. That's why we do this. But yeah, today PlayStation had their state of play. So if you can, I can't reach the slide from here, so Sumachi's gonna have to click it. You should be able to reach it without moving, hopefully. Speaking of controller rings, I always thought it was interesting. The controller rings on these are like in the back of the controller.
Reminds me of the sword controllers from Pimax, kinda. Although those are a bit stupider.
A bit stupider. I actually really like everything about the headset design for the PSVR.
Other than that
I'm
cable.
I'm impressed with everything about it so far, to be honest. Other than what?
Eye tracking. Let's
The
go.
cable.
It has eye
Oh yeah, I
tracking.
forget it has eye tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't have mouth tracking.
Yeah, for foveated rendering. It's only for foveated rendering, so they can make, so they make the game's cost less to run.
You say only for foveated rendering, but
Foveated
there's no reason
rendering.
it can't be used for other things too. It's not like I'm sure it's gonna do.
Sure,
other
but are they
things.
gonna have VR chat on there?
Probably.
I don't see why not. Yeah, I'm sure they'll get VR chat on there
Laneova
eventually.
vibes.
The only
Hi,
reason
welcome
I
in.
could
I'd be
see
amazed.
Sony not wanting VR chat is Sony is kind of heavy on censorship. I don't know if y'all know that. Especially the last like 5 years. They used to be kind of light on censorship, but lately they don't allow certain games on their platform. They even censor games. More than Nintendo. Let's put it that way. Nintendo will allow more not safe for work content on the Switch than Sony will on the PlayStation. So, but I don't know. We'll see.
I could maybe see its eye tracking use maybe in some games. That's about it. I really
Eye
don't
tracking
think we'll
could
see
be
that.
used for selection the same way head tracking is. Like, you know how you look at
Yeah.
something with your
Play
head to
with
That's what I
select
mean.
it?
Game.
Yeah. But also just like social elements, where you're just looking around and like making eye contact with people. Like VRChat simulates eye contact. It's not like real eye contact.
Oh yeah, if you ever
Unless you have
notice
eye
the eyes on all the heads, all of them
You
point at
can
you.
integrate.
Doesn't matter who you're looking.
You can
Doesn't
integrate.
matter where you're looking.
Like
All the
VR
eyes
chat,
point
though.
at just you.
What were you saying?
If
I
it
can't hear.
wasn't, I was just gonna say if it wasn't so like I'd have I've considered multiple times because I'm so frustrated with the amount of times I've had to RMA my index and the things to get a Vive Pro I. I would have gotten a Vive Pro 2 if it had eye tracking, but they removed that feature between the Vive Pro I and the Vive Pro or the
At
Vive
Lena
Pro
Ova
2. I don't
Samat
understand
Love.
why they removed that.
Hi,
but
hi, welcome
I would
in.
have 100% bought a Vive 2 if it had that. Regardless of even if it was like, wow, these specs are kind of shitty. I'm like, I wanted a newer headset with higher resolution with eye tracking. That's all I want. But
Yeah, actually, I saw that on a streamer's wish list. Was a Vive Pro 2, and I mean, some people still want one of those just for the certain special features it has that other headsets don't have yet. But that's all gonna change.
one new
when we
feature
get-
Hey,
that's-
gorgeous at Attacked by Wolves.
One new feature that will be added to, well, not by Vive themselves, but I showed this to him. I don't know if he showed it to you too, but so a third-party company is actually now licensed a WiGig model for or WiGig 2 adapter for the Index, so you can now go wireless with your Valve Index. It's not out yet, but it's coming out.
Oh,
saw that.
that's exciting.
We're actually gonna bring that up later
and
on.
pers-
We got pictures and stuff of it.
Oh, this would
Oh.
okay. Well, this was a good segue, but yeah, we'll talk about the rest of it when we get up to that topic.
stay tuned after these messages from our sponsor.
Literally, fucking
have no
nobody.
sponsors.
We're broke.
No one will pay
Sponsor
us. They're like, wait a minute.
If you're interested,
Weebs and
message
furries,
Sam.
they're not
and
sponsoring
furs.
anything. Anyways, yep, perfect. So yeah, they pretty much only announced games today because they already announced the headset. A couple months back. So this is a
Still haven't given us a
screenshot
release
from the
date,
new
though,
Resident Evil 4
Which
remake.
is annoying.
What was annoying?
They still haven't given us a release date yet, have they?
They have not given us release date. They're showing us
What
games.
for the PSVR 2?
Oh, another thing I want to point out too. This is lesser known
Oh.
information that they didn't talk about today, but they said to another news source that they're releasing 20 VR games at launch for PSVR2. So I think they only showed
Whoa.
about 5
Wow.
today, but they said they have 20 launch games planned for VR.
Although it was one of the things, they plan on releasing a lot of PlayStation exclusive titles on the PC, so maybe we'll see a bunch of those. I know there was one mentioned today that was going to be a PlayStation VR exclusive. That was a Horizon Zero Dawn game, or it was essentially The Climb had a child with Horizon Zero Dawn, is what it was. But it looked pretty good, but it was going to be a PlayStation exclusive. So unless you have like a load of cash to spend, or
well, keep in mind,
PS.
they same thing with like Spider-Man. They said that's PlayStation exclusive. There's lots of things that come out and they say this is exclusive, but it's like there's no guarantee it'll stay there.
I mean, they could change their mind. Yeah, they probably
And
will change their
exclusive
mind.
for 1 month.
Yeah.
Exclusive until we realize we can make more cash by doing this.
But this looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't play the Quest version, and I would probably
didn't
play
either.
this.
There's another picture of
The
it too.
Quest
I
is
have a
just too
second
hard to get
slide that's a
set up
little
with
brighter
streaming
of
and
the
stuff.
graphics.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the
Okay,
storyline is actually redone. So it's not a
You
It's
replace
actual
all of
full
the zombies
remake.
with Care Bears.
it actually looked a lot darker
Censorship policy.
than the original. Because the original Resident Evil 4 was kind of the first one to go into like an action-ish genre, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, click over one more. We'll go to the next picture of the game. Yeah, so that's a screenshot of the village. So I don't know if you remember what the village looked like
feel like-
before.
I feel like so many games have this issue. If it's a remake, if it's a trailer for Zenith, if it's I don't care. So many games do this, though. And maybe it's just because it's recognizable, but this is literally 5 minutes into the game.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And maybe it's just because it's identifiable for people that only played the game for 10 minutes. But I want to see stuff that isn't just like the start of the game. I want to see like pictures and stuff from like, look at this thing halfway through. But I'm so tired of like games because Zenith, every single trailer I saw,
Zenith only
and every
had
single,
the first part of the
Zenith
game.
coming through, it was just the first area. It was only the first area, man. Like I'm so tired of games only doing that. It's like you have all this other stuff to show off, and I go, you don't want to like reveal stuff for like, you want to keep some stuff hidden.
I think
But you
another
can still,
reason
like,
they do that
tease
is
other
the
stuff.
first part of a game
tease me
for
a bit
any
more.
dev usually is better for a lot of games. The first parts of the game is where they put the most effort in because the majority of people don't finish the game. And they
Sure.
want to get you hooked at the beginning
Mhm.
and get a good first impression. And
But
and
imagine
people
you show
tire
a
out
picture
as
from
they
the end
develop.
of the game. But imagine you show a picture at the end of the game. People are going to watch the trailer, go play the game, be like, I haven't found that yet. I want to see that part. And they'll play the game more. So it's like, come on.
I'll tell you
Right,
one thing.
people
I'm
wanna
gonna
be
actually go
teased.
back. I'm gonna go
Subscription-based,
back
they
one
already
slide.
made the
I
money.
think this is. I was looking at this because I think this is
Also
actually the very
village,
first
but
scene
night.
of the game. No, you remember the first scene of the game where you go in and there's just like that one house? I think this is the first scene of the
been
game, but it looks so much
Many years
different
since I played Resident Evil.
than it did originally. Like it looks totally different. So I think it's gonna be a fairly different version of the game. Not to mention you're gonna be playing it in VR.
That's true. A lot of people didn't have the experience of playing it.
I played it in VR, but
tease
it's not
me,
gonna be
damn
the
it.
same.
So you have the village up. Did they announce the village VR as well, or is that just for comparison?
Yeah,
This
no,
is
go.
The village in Resident Evil.
Yeah, go over one more, and it's gonna be.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, they announced both. So Resident Evil 8 and 4
Oh.
are both coming out in VR.
That's pretty exciting.
I love black roses.
I just love flowers.
I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were saying they developed Resident Evil 8 with the intention of making it in VR. and Resident Evil 4 is getting
Really?
built in the Resident Evil 8 engine.
And then they changed
Wow.
the minds.
That's
Or they
really
just
interesting
didn't have
that
the tech yet.
So
Seems like kind of
ideally,
a
we're
weird
gonna
process
get
to go through, but
we're gonna get cross-compatible VR Resident Evil titles just going forward. Like going forward, all mainline Resident
That'd
Evils
be
will
nice.
be in VR, and which is huge. I
As
mean,
long
it's
as
a huge thing
as
for
long as
VR.
it's the whole game, as it's not like, the thing that I was worried about for COD, right? Because we saw the COD teaser, like COD VR might be a
Which
thing.
didn't
I was worried
happen.
it's going to be like new COD game coming out, and then like special PSVR users get one VR mission, like one. Like I'm worried games are going to start going that route, where they have like the whole game and then you get like one demo mission of the VR game or something.
I feel like we
that'd
moved
be
past
cringe.
it. I feel like we moved past that, honestly.
I don't think we moved past it because it hasn't happened yet. I think we're right before that stage. I think that's the next step. The next
It has happened. No,
cringy
no, no.
step.
Resident Evil 7 was that
Yeah.
way. They had like just a teaser of VR in there. There's been a bunch of games that
That
did
you
that
could play?
actually. Yeah, Resident Evil
That you
7
could
had
play.
a mini
Yeah.
VR mode. It was like an
Huh.
hour VR. Tomb Raider did it. They had a VR Tomb Raider mode. There's
Doom
other games that have
2016
done it.
VFR was a trimmed down version of Doom.
Star Wars Battlefront 2 had one. I'm glancing at chat for extra answers.
Did it?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Star Wars Battlefront
I
2 had
didn't
one.
know about
Oh
that one.
really?
Yeah, there's we've already gone through the phase of putting Halo had a VR mode that was really, really, really minor. Like, or it wasn't a mode maybe, but it was like a mini experience they launched with the game.
Do not tell me
Didn't
that's
Microsoft-
Go
true.
walk ar-
I
go
remember
walk
that
around the
developer that-
Pelican. Good job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Same-
The developer that was remaking the like Reach in VR. Yeah.
I hope that's not where he went. I hope that's not what. I think it was like, all right, that was fun. Don't ever touch our stuff again. You're getting fired. I hope that's not what happened to him. If that's what happened to him, I'd be so disappointed.
Didn't Microsoft say they weren't going to commit to VR at all? That they said it wasn't going to happen?
That was, like,
Yeah, they said that
7 years
before
ago.
the Quest outsold the Xbox
They still
this
haven't done
past year.
anything either though.
Mm.
You know what I mean? There's still not been any movement from
That one
Microsoft
aged like
in
milk.
VR since what mixed reality platform.
No, nobody wants VR. Yeah, it was like 3 years ago that they said that or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So,
their
every
then their
Christmas,
console
Oculus
got
app is at
outsold
the
by
top
the
of the
Quest
story.
too.
Was that
Yeah.
the same conference that Blizzard was like, you guys got phones? Don't you guys have phones? Was that the same conference?
No, that was a
might have
long,
been.
long time ago. That was a long time ago. All that would have been great. The conference that has a bunch of quotes that age like
The
milk
meme
would have been
conference.
great, but yeah.
Microsoft's gotten pretty
Conference.
screwed in the VR department too recently because Apple and Facebook
Hi,
bought all their
welcome in.
employees. So Microsoft doesn't even have any good VR employees left. They had a
They'll probably try to
military
get back into
contract.
it.
They kind of have to probably because
Hear me out. They start hiring indie VR game devs because they need to hire someone, and the indie devs are way better.
the problem with these companies, they're not worried about games. They're worried about like platforms and hardware and like systems, and then they let someone else make the games. You know, and they just want to take a cut.
Yeah.
You know, they just want you to be in their ecosystem and on their store and take a 30% cut off of everything. They don't want to make a game. They want to make a platform where people can make games or experiences and stuff. So, but yeah, Microsoft had a military contract for that HoloLens, and that failed. The Windows mixed reality platform somewhat failed. And then they got all their employees scalped. So.
At @Alyx_skillsy
but they'll have to do something. Or just, I mean, they could just open up the platform and let people plug in Windows mixed reality headsets into the Xbox and let people make games. Like, why not just let people make games with the products you already have? Like, that would be simple enough.
Because
you
it's a
know?
curated store.
Mm.
Yeah, I've seen some games on there. It's about as curated as the Switch, and that's not very curated. I gotta say, it looks pretty. The Switch store is pretty uncurated, and so is. It's like Steam. They say Steam's curated. That shit's not curated.
What? No. Steam hasn't been curated since Greenlight.
Okay, yeah. They also
Ooh.
announced, No Man's Sky, which that's not really a big deal for all of us, but
It is.
I think it's a
Because it
big
means
deal
the game will be
for
revived
everybody
again.
else.
Yeah.
Every time a game gets an update, it gets revived a little bit. I think that's really important.
For its rocky release, No Man's Sky has become kind of a classic ever since they actually added a lot of the stuff they promised. And apparently it's incredible in VR from what I'm told. I haven't played it, but I've heard it's really good.
I tried it once
played it
in
a little
VR
bit
a
in
while
VR.
ago.
Hmm.
I would.
I
What'd you think?
actually,
Go ahead.
Elite Dangerous was the reason I got my VR. And then when No Man's Sky announced VR, I did try it. Like day one and a couple of those days. It was pretty rocky at the start with like integration and how well it worked and whatnot. But it's made pretty well. I mean, it's a very like go explore, do your own thing. Just turn it into Factorio and then
Join
you're
the
done.
Discord https://discord.gg/c4bija4r.
You'd never see me again.
No, I'm
I'd just be discovered in my home, just like a frail, malnourished like sack of bones. Just be like, one more belt.
They
I'd be really surprised if
they added an update to No Man's
Not
Sky
good.
recently too, because they've been constantly updating it. You know what I mean? But the most recent one they have actually really interests me because it's only going to be there for 6 weeks, and it's a roguelite mode. So basically, imagine you never played the game. I mean, there's basically a new mode you can go play that's only going to be there for 6 weeks, and it's a roguelike mode. So that
Did it
sounds
just
pretty
come out?
cool.
Gotta do it in VR.
Yeah, I think it
Gotta
just
do it
came
in
out within
VR.
the
Let's
last
do it.
week.
Let's do it. We
Yeah,
just
so-
found out what we're doing next week.
We're doing yeah. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know if maybe they'll take the roguelite mode away and then revamp it and bring it back, but they said it's leaving in 6 weeks. So if you want to do the current roguelite mode in No Man's Sky, you got to do it soon.
Cool.
Why do you
Let's
think
do
they
it.
would remove it? It seems like a strange thing for them to just kind of do.
I don't know.
'Cause
They've
I never really considered No Man's Sky to be live service or anything like that.
It kind of is because it's multiplayer. It's become more MMO like
now
as it's
it is.
aged. Yeah, it's very multiplayer now.
It's multiplayer.
And then I think you pretty much just have survival mode, or you have like normal mode, if I remember correctly. That was kind of the two main modes. It was like normal and survival. But now they're gonna have like a roguelite mode.
I'm all for it. Let's do it. Who's with me this next week?
But if you think about it, this is
That'd be cool.
probably
See you there.
this is probably the
Oh,
biggest
cool.
game that's gonna launch on PlayStation VR that we know about yet.
multitwitch.tv
Because it's actually got multiplayer, you know?
Starwindver
Pop one.
at @slick
Pop one will-
underscore
That's
skills
ready.
underscore star citizen win.
Pop
one
One's
will
never
release on
coming to
PlayStation
PSVR. It's not gonna happen.
It will release. That's why that is 100% why they started patching the games every 2 weeks instead of every week, or like even longer than that, is because PlayStation has you're only allowed to like send out patches for your games every 2 weeks. That is like, there are so many signs that are them getting Pop One ready for PSVR. It's obvious it's going to be on PSVR.
You really think that? Are you
Like,
memeing
back
right
in
now?
August, they changed it to a 2-week policy. No, like there's so many things that there's just them getting.
So you
it
think the
ready for
company-
PSVR.
Facebook is gonna release their game on PlayStation.
I think. That
I mean, they're
Big
kind of
Box is
bleeding
going to
money right
release their
now, so you
game.
know.
I don't think they're worried about
think
money. I
Big
think they're worried
Box
about like
Will release their game.
Big Box doesn't get to say whether they can release their game on Sony.
I mean,
It's up
you
to
say that,
Microsoft. It's
but
up to
they're
Microsoft.
on
It's up to
Steam.
Facebook.
Big Box released on Steam.
But it was out on
Well,
Steam
that was before they
got
signed
bought.
with. Yeah.
Right, but it's already on multiple platforms.
This
They're
is
one of the
true.
only games that runs on multiple platforms.
Listen, if Pop One comes out on PlayStation, I'm literally gonna bust a nut and like, yeah, it's gonna be over.
I don't want to
Why?
be for that.
You're
It
I'm
said
just gonna
that
be like,
just as my feet went over his lap.
Let me
And I'm just gonna fall over and just-
predict the stuff. Add some guns. Say you add a gun like I don't know, like an FAL, maybe some dual Uzis or like an RFB or something. Say you add those guns into the game. Like,
I mean, all the things they're about to add to the game.
oh what?
You mean all the things they put on Twitter?
make something like add these Call of Duty like.
We do have a Pop One slide for later.
And then, yeah, I'm just saying.
I mean,
they're
they
trying to
even-
make it.
They even look grittier than the original
Yeah.
weapons.
You're gonna make it look gritty, and they're gonna make it like I'm thinking like, when do we think PSVR2 is coming out? 2023
Next
spring
year.
or 2022 fall?
Yeah.
It is next year.
I think it's coming out next year.
It's next year. They said it's
unless
next
they
year.
surprise launch it, it's Christmas this year. But yeah, I think it's gonna come out next year. I would be surprised if it came out late next year though, because it already feels like there's a lot ready for it.
Yeah, I feel like they keep announcing stuff. They have been for the past like year. So
If it took a year and a
winter
half
would
from
be
now to come
ideal.
out, I would be surprised. I think it's got to come out sooner than next
I want to
Christmas.
think they said Q2 of next year. I want to think that's what they said.
Somebody
It seems
Jamie,
like kind of
pull
an
that up.
odd launch date.
I know there's not an
man, hang
announcement.
on.
I think it just said 2023 is the current info. Penguin's going to look. But
Yeah, Pop One. I wouldn't be surprised if Larcenauts got revived and released. on
that I wouldn't
PSVR
be
as well.
surprised about. I honestly though, there's going to be a rush of people importing stuff over to PlayStation because they've already made the games. Why not go ahead and port them over? And then also you're going to have people that make games for PlayStation and then port them to PC because PlayStation's where the money's at, but they'll port them to PC and we're going to see a revival of high quality VR games. That's why I've always been so excited about PlayStation VR personally, even if I don't buy one, which I probably will buy one, but
Early next year. That's all it says.
Scam.
yeah.
Was that for a game or was that for the VR itself?
For the headset.
Yeah, they haven't announced.
Damn.
They haven't announced a
So
date.
that means this
and
year.
No, next year, early
I
next
was
year.
gonna say, this year is gonna be the year that everybody gets ridiculously good at the VR games that exist. And next year will be the year that a lot of VR games take off. Vale's having their $35,000 tournament in August of this year. Pop One will be on PSVR, whether you like it or not. Starwind.
I love it. I just
Larcenauts
don't.
probably
I don't have faith in that happening, but I'm all about
Overwatch
it.
2 will probably be on PSVR. Who knows?
That's what we need. We just need this trend of like I honestly I still hope Call of Duty has a VR mode because there is Modern Warfare 2 coming, right? We know that for sure. There's a revamped Modern
Again?
Warfare 2 coming. Yeah. Because they remade
I'm
Modern
pretty
Warfare
sure
1.
that was just a rumor.
No, when I looked it up, yeah, the actual remake of it's supposedly happening. I have no idea.
So
though.
they came out with like a what's it called when you don't remake a game, you just re-release it, but with updated
Remaster. Yeah, which is what the
Remastered,
current
yeah,
Resident Evil 4s
remastered
are.
Modern Warfare. But then they're rebooting, or they rebooted Modern Warfare now. So because nobody has original ideas anymore, just take the old ideas and make them shinier.
Ride
like-
the
it's-
nostalgia train.
It's like when they reboot
Yeah.
Spider-Man for the third time in a decade.
How
And they
many
only come to the
times does Uncle
successful-
Ben need to die?
As many times as we say.
See, the
We
problem
can't
is
line
every
our
Let's
time
click
Uncle
through.
Ben
Let's
dies,
click
Anybody
through more
else's
game
blood.
Aunt May
screenshots.
gets younger. It's a bit of a
Every
devilish
time Uncle
bag.
Ben dies.
Oh yeah,
Aunt May does get
more
younger.
Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners.
Oh.
Sumachi doesn't want to skip over
Uh,
No Man's Sky. We're
Look at those
having it.
hands. Look at the hands.
Those
Oh,
hands
do
look
you
kind
like
of
the VR
wobbly.
trailers too? Where every single VR trailer is the same thing, where it's someone going, and then like shielding their
Hand.
There's
head from the sun. And they're
Every
like-
VR game is like terrible sunlight.
Every VR trailer in existence is like, and they do
That's-
this. They're like, I gotta show it's in VR. Quick, shake your hands and act like you're scared.
Do we really? We don't need to talk about
Man.
Walking Dead. Just skip to
Wanna
Walking
know what
Dead.
Half-Life Alyx did?
amazing, but-
Freaking
Skip to skip to what's the name of that damn game? Horizons. Not Facebook
That's pretty
Horizon.
exciting.
That's a
What
screenshot
is
of Walking
this?
Dead.
That's them
for
showing their
PlayStation.
hand and the gun to show
Dude,
you
I
their hands.
legit thought it was a
Horizon,
game from the
Call of
other
the Mountain.
Could you have found a more Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Call of the Mountain. Essentially,
Not just some random person in Merc.
Skip
tweeting.
one more. I should have sat. I
So
should have sat where
Horizon-
Sumachi's at.
could you?
You get a bow. Bows in VR. Thumbs up. Add a bow
That's
to Pop
interesting.
One.
Put a bow in everything.
No
Bows
arms.
just feel
I
great
noticed
in
that.
VR.
I
No
was
arms,
like, why?
no
Why are there
actual
no
body.
arms?
Yeah.
Okay, but Steam literally did.
Remember
the
what
research on
Facebook
that,
said?
Released the research on that.
Players don't want bodies; they just want floating hands. Remember?
You
We don't
remember
like legs.
That's
or any of that
yeah.
stuff.
I mean, it's still just. I don't know. I guess my
It's
personal
weird.
preference.
Yeah, we
is I
don't
like
want
being
legs,
You
able to-
could
guys.
add it.
yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't really like legs. Okay.
Steam did their whole like Half-Life Alyx every piece of research they ever did thing, and one of the things they added was like from all of the studies they did, players were immersed in the game, and the fact that you got extra field of view and your arm wasn't blocking stuff that could like be attacking you was more important than having the arm there. Like the fact that you could see through this area that was blocking your screen. You don't want 10% of your screen taken up by an arm where you can like have that open for actual.
I feel like a
game
lot of
or
that
game.
research though is just kind of bunk because like they're just getting like people that don't play VR. They're just getting people that have no experience.
You're
And
just
they're
saying
throwing
that
them in
because
for the
Elbow
first time,
trackers.
Well,
Yeah.
and they're just like, "Hey,
He's just saying that because he
look
likes
here,
Boneworks more than Half-Life Alyx. Don't
look here
say
with an
that.
arm, look here without an arm. Which do you like better? Oh, you like that better? Okay, all right, have a great day." Like they're not getting players that are like experienced in the genre.
Says
and asking them.
Starwind.
Well,
Says the
to be
Half-Life Alyx
fair-
credit scene that has like 150 people's names on it.
Well, but hear
Are you
me
talking
out,
about my
right?
in-stream
So who do they
scene?
care about more? The people who haven't played VR and they're trying to get hooked into it, or the people that are experienced with VR and will tolerate not having arms? So if they have those
Here's what I would
randos
argue
that,
though
you
is
know,
the is
it's
the,
just good
the
business.
players that tell you, "Hey, I don't like having the arm there." We know from experience having the arms better, and I think that the people that even in some sort of Q&A test say they don't like it, they'll
Compromise add
over
a toggle.
time.
Done.
It's true. I think it's a lot of development work too to add a body. Like they save on resources,
I
they
don't
save
think
on
so.
development.
Well, that's just too simple.
I mean,
You're right. Sorry. Go
That
back to
actually adds a
arguing.
solution to the
Sorry.
problem. So,
Yeah. Sorry. My bad.
but have you
Did you
noticed
guys
that
see
a
that
lot of
in-
PC games are going like to the point where you look down, you see your body, and VR games are going to where you can't see your body? Isn't that funny?
That is weird.
You know what my least favorite thing is? In
I
Marauders,
like my body.
The new like first-person Tarkov-ish space game. It's pretty cool. It went into alpha this past couple of weeks. Not only are you in the game, but you're like wearing like a spacesuit, and they like outline the suit in your vision. I hate that. Let me have just my vision, please. Like I get it in Tarkov if you're wearing a helmet or something and you pull the mask down that like it's all like a dusty and stuff. But in a game where you're like it's a first person game, you don't need to add or you don't need to reduce the amount of game that I can see for no reason. Just let me see the game. I don't need to see like this gray space where the suit is. Please remove that. Stop that. I hate that.
Yeah, I hope FOVs increase. Like, I wish, I feel like there's a lot of focus and like continue to increase the resolution of displays, and I feel like we'd gain a lot more if they just made them wider first. You know, like I want more FOV in my headset more than anything else right now.
are we
I don't know
segueing
how-
to Pimax?
No,
I don't
I'm
know
not
how
talking about
wide
Pimax
your
at all
eyes
today.
point, Starwind. but
I want more FOV, but fuck the only company that does anything about it. Literally what this man just said.
I mean, like
Horizon.
the index has
Horizon,
I think
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
Horizon.
So does this game interest y'all at all?
Yeah, I thought the
Nah.
trailer was cool. I played the first Horizon. I didn't play the second one. I watched Donkey's review on the
So this
second
game
one,
is
and I was
probably
like,
gonna
yep.
be like
Sounds
just
like a sequel.
a linear, like it's not a VR version of Horizon. Unfortunately, it's gonna be, you know, that game The Climb.
Mhm.
It's gonna be like that, but with combat. It's
that.
gonna be like a mix between Climb
Yeah.
and Stride, is what it looked like to me.
Stride is getting their multiplayer update next month.
Ooh,
This is true.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So
I
that
have
should be
Stride.
cool, too.
Stride's
That's
fun.
an addition.
Do you want to elaborate on what that might look like?
Yeah, go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, so the Stride multiplayer, it's like Stride itself is a Mirror's Edge but in VR game. So it's like parkour, rooftops, like running around. There's like a time trial mode where you try to get as far as possible, and they're adding multiplayer to the game where it's kind of gorilla tag, but it's Mirror's Edge rooftop parkour gorilla tag. So it's like Mirror's Edge tag, parkour tag. It's really cool in VR. How about
sounds
you?
fun.
Guns. It's a gorilla tag with
I
guns.
don't think in multiplayer you get the thing.
Why would they not have a
I think it's
shooter
just
mode,
tech.
considering it's a shooting game?
Because coding in bullet stuff into VR games is hard enough, as we found out from Pop One.
Fair
Mhm.
enough.
The ping, the bullet pen, the
Yeah, you
bullet
get to watch the
velocity,
bullet go
ballistics in
past you as it
general.
hits you. You get to watch the bullet
the
fly through, repeat
tracers
past
not
you, and then
being
shoot you in the
aligned
head.
with the client
Yeah.
side. Yeah, because the tracers aren't aligned with the client or the client side stuff. The tracer is just there to simulate what's happening. It's not accurate, but it's there for the people to feel like it's right. But then when you start to notice the little things when you play the game more,
Yeah.
and you're like, it's been broken from the start. But yeah, Horizon. I'm excited for this. It's a bow. I love bows in VR. Bows work very well in VR. Put a bow in every game.
How long do you think it'll be before we get like a full-fledged Horizon VR?
3, 4 years.
That'll depend on how good this one
Depends on how
does.
well it does.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's probably about right.
Just add
It's
the,
unfortunate,
Hi,
but it's
welcome in.
probably about right. Honestly, like imagine
Would you
like a
want a
ground-up
full-fledged Horizon
GTA or
in
something
VR,
in
though?
VR. Like when how
I
far
think
are we
maybe
from
like
that?
a kind of, like
Would you
a simul
want
release.
Full-fledged Horizon in VR.
Oh, I would. I'd love it. Especially if it had this quality of mechanics with like climbing and everything. Like imagine if you had a Breath of the Wild in VR. You know, that would be basically the same thing. Because you
can do
could
that.
climb
You can
and
play Breath of the Wild in VR.
But you have a controller.
It's a
It's not the
controller.
same.
It's not the same. It's not.
It's a
not
controller
real
for now.
interactions.
That's how a lot of the VR mods start off, though.
Yeah, but the
is
VR
they just
mod
start
for
off
Breath
trying
of
to
the
get
Wild
display to work.
is running off the emulator, and I don't think they can hack in motion controls to that. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Speaking
I mean-
of new VR games, Deep Rock Galactic just got a VR mod. You can now play
that
Deep
is
Rock
true.
Galactic in VR.
And
Yeah,
it's
I
very
Like
good. It's
controller
janky,
VR
but
or
it's
is like
very
the
good.
motion control
Motion-
VR?
No,
motion
it's full motion controls. Everything. You aim with the
I'll try
gun. You
that.
can you can dual wield with some of the
So
stuff.
it's a little rocky
fantastic.
right now, but
Ah,
it'll get
Wait,
there.
that was. Oops,
This
sorry,
is
wrong
the
gesture.
future of VR, is just flat games modded into VR. Because like if you think about the entire everything we're talking about here, it's basically a modification of either Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 8, the Horizon system modded into its own game, No Man's Sky.
When will
Like
we
these are
get
all
a-
pancake games in reality, other than
When
maybe
will we
Horizon.
get a pancake shooter that people are allowed to play on desktop or in VR? So you can put this
Rec Room
argument to
does that.
rest.
Rec Room does
Yeah,
that.
paintball.
They're like the only one.
That lets
I mean,
you have
granted,
that
just
lets
goes-
you cross like
Yeah,
fight
they're
VR
like
versus mouse and
they're
keyboard.
like they're massive now. They're literally just about as big as Roblox.
I mean, that's probably what they were going for is Roblox
Hey, I thought it
VR,
was
so they
bigger.
could take that space before Roblox
another-
did.
Is it
let's
bigger?
move
I knew
another
it was
slide.
close.
I
I
think
didn't
it might
realize
be
it was
bigger.
bigger.
Really?
Maybe
That's
bigger.
honestly impressive.
Jamie
Roblox
time.
is surprisingly big.
It's just one of the scenes of them
Is this
jumping.
from-
It's just showing some of like the
Oh.
climbing. That is an in-game picture though, or in-engine picture. I believe.
Wasn't there another catwalk that got announced?
There was another catwalk that got
Catwalk?
announced. Yeah, I think they're giving away some too. I think
The
they gave one
treadmill.
beer and headshots. I think there's.
Mm.
Yes. Risk of Rain
Jump in-
does
jump
allow
in real
for
life to jump in VR.
for crossplay.
Risk of Rain does.
Yeah, Risk of Rain has
so
crossplay,
does
but it's not
Cheech.
PvP.
Risk of Rain. No,
DoD
Risk of Rain does a
also.
good job. But at the same time, making PvP integrated
PvP.
VR games is very hard.
Yeah.
Like there's like 3 games that get server stuff right for VR games, and it's like Swords of Gura and maybe Veil, and those are the only 2. Everything else you're gonna feel scammed out of your kills, out of everything. You're
Well, I
gonna
mean,
be
there's
like,
no
"All right,
That's
well,
why
how
I was
do
really
get
hoping
over?"
this Call of
Even
Duty
for
VR
there's-
thing was real. I think it's actually the next.
They did-
oh yeah, this is
There's,
the picture of
there's
the
ways
leaked
to get around that.
the leaked
there's
document
ways
that
to
said we
scam
were
it,
getting
but-
Call of Duty VR, but we didn't.
Well, no, there's ways to actually do it right. Like just like with
Yeah,
fighting
it's,
games, like how Smash Brothers still uses garbage
The whole Switch
netcode instead of just using
netcode
rollback
for every
netcode,
game on
which is-
Switch uses garbage
Yeah.
netcode.
Yeah, Switch netcode in general is absolute trash. When
Yeah, it's terrible.
like the Project M and the Slippy stuff, so you can play Melee like on your computer, and you can play Project M on your computer and emulate it. and you use like rollback netcode on your PC, and you play with what feels like zero lag because it uses some of the same stuff some of the newer games use. I think Tekken 5 didn't have rollback netcode at release, and the community literally, like, nobody touched the game, and then they added it with a patch, and the game got a little bit better. But it's like something that exists and can be coded by modders without knowledge, or like I'm sure they have knowledge of how to do it, but like can be coded by those, but it's not put in by these big companies. Nintendo doesn't do it. Like if we had a Smash game that had rollback,
Street Fighter 5 had jacked up netcode for like the first year.
I think
of its
they might have
existence.
fixed it.
They did,
Yeah,
did,
that's
but
what
a
I was talking
modder
about.
fixed it on like way beforehand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and Street Fighter 6 actually was one of the announcements. Not a VR game, obviously, but
It was.
it would be interesting though. I'm sure that they'll have theater mode for PlayStation, just like they have theater mode for Steam. You know, so people could probably play Street Fighter in theater mode. That might be an interesting one.
I used to play Dead by Daylight in theater mode on Steam. I was like Dead by Daylight in VR. Oh.
I'm sure there's gonna be people out there. You know, I remember when I was a kid, I had like a 13-inch TV in a closet. You know, and maybe we don't really care about theater mode that much all the time, but I'm sure there's somebody out there that would really benefit from like theater mode for lots of different
Everybody
games.
that's going to college. Everybody that's
Yeah.
going to college, you give them a Quest 2, bam, have fun. We had big screen, being able to watch stuff on a literal like projector screen while you're just sitting on your bed in your room. And
Yeah.
It's so important for people that don't have space, VR. I know we always talk about like having the amount of play space to be able to do stuff, but there's a lot of like unmoving VR experiences. Or like ones where you're just like stationary.
Yeah, a lot of people bought Quest 2s not for games. It was for porn, but same thing.
Boy, were
Definitely
they
not
VR,
disappointed.
VR porn still got a long ways to go too.
It does. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's either
There's a
it's either
couple
bad
things that I've
or
seen.
too many gigabytes. It's like
We don't
it's
talk
like
about too many
48
gigabytes unless we're bringing up Medal of
68.
Honor.
It's like a
No, my
100
God.
gigabytes for like a
Medal,
K12
Medal of
video.
Honor. Medal of Honor on release. The game was what 360 gigs. Like people that had the Quest. And I think the Quest version was still like 250. So people that had the 128 gigabyte version of the Quest couldn't even download the game, and the people that had the 250
No, the Quest version
gigabyte,
was 60 something
256?
gigs, I think. It's the PC
Yeah,
version
sure.
that was
That's
yeah,
what I
yeah,
was
the
thinking,
PC
yeah.
version would
It
have
was like
been too big to fit.
80-ish.
But
Yeah.
wasn't there a 60 gig? Was there a 60 gig Quest?
64.
64 gigs.
There was
So
a 64
yeah,
Quest
the people
and
with the
no,
64 gig Quest literally had
The
to
Quest
delete
1.
everything.
Yeah,
on
yeah, no,
their
you could
Quest
literally
1.
It was the
only
Quest
fit
2.
that one
It was
game
the first,
and
no,
maybe
the
a
Quest 2's
photo.
version also had a 64 gig, and it was only recently that they made the 128 the base model.
okay.
Yeah, I actually have the
It used
shitty
to be like
one.
a
So, yeah.
64 gig Quest 2's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Medal of
Same.
Honor. Good times. 380 gigs. I downloaded that game. It took me
Was it?
12 hours to download it. Played it for
Sheesh.
Did you
like
refund
an
it?
hour and a half because because you can only play for 2 hours before you can refund. So I played for an hour and a half and then I refunded it.
Yeah, I know. I fortunately didn't buy it. After I heard the situation and the gigabytes, I was like, ew.
Wasn't
Yeah.
the
I heard
majority
the
of that
Quest
because they
version
include,
is
like, a ton
actually
of,
better.
Like 4K raw footage.
But that's no surprise. We know
I
Quest
hear
version's
it's
better
better
for a
now.
lot
I
of
hear the
things.
game's better now, but I mean, everything releases in this unfinished state or early access now, and then everybody loses their interest.
Yeah, that's true. That's going to be
Pop
the
1 is
biggest downfall of
truly
Zenith.
It's such an interesting game releasing. It still had some bugs, but Pop 1 released as a 1.0 game, and that's like so important that happened.
And it
'Cause, like,
actually
Larcenauts-
functioned.
Larcenauts released and broke on Steam VR and was broken on Steam VR for a couple weeks after release. Like all these games, like Medal of Honor was way too big and completely broken on release and had hundreds of bugs. Like all these games always release in like a broken state. It's really frustrating.
Agreed.
No, you can't get away with that AAA like flat screen stuff on VR because people would just be like, nah.
Yeah.
That's been one of my things I always bring up over and over talking about VR is the expectation from consumers with VR is that VR is a more immersive, more premium, better looking experience. And then the reality is like VR is a less less premium experience than flat games.
Why do I got PS2
you know?
graphics?
Exactly. It's like VR is supposed to be like I get in and it looks real, and I'm like, oh, I'm in a fake reality, But then they get here and they're like, yo, this literally looks like I'm playing N64 Conker's Bad Fur Day right now. Like what is going on? I don't even know.
I feel like that's part.
Oh yeah, before we move on from
the
this, how
expectations of
disappointed is
fucking
everybody
good,
that Call
but-
of Duty was fake?
We don't know if it was fake. We just know it wasn't announced.
No.
It was
This
fake.
this is 100% fake because they said it was getting announced today and it didn't.
Street Fighter 6. Right, but they can like remove stuff if stuff.
Resident Evil
gets
4
leaked,
was
right?
real.
It's like that. Real?
Avatar wasn't real. What does that say?
Resident Evil Village.
That was real. 1, 2.
Street Fighter 6 Stray was real.
PlayStation VR2 overview. It literally didn't even say a word about it.
Like half of these games didn't actually come out today.
Is there another? Well, when's the E3? Is there an
But
E3
more
in the
importantly-
summer?
No Call of Duty VR.
Pretty sure it is. No, not announced Call of Duty VR. I mean, they didn't even announce normal Call of Duty.
Let's
did
put
they?
it this way.
So
I was
I'm
already
assuming
skeptical because
assume when they
Microsoft owns
announce-
the company now, Activision is now owned by Microsoft. Microsoft's super anti-VR. So I was shocked to hear it at all.
Oh.
But they may have been working on it beforehand, before Microsoft bought them. But, now it's all fake, or seems to be.
I didn't know Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they bought Bethesda
When did that
and
happen?
6 months ago.
Oh wow.
You didn't see all the memes. My favorite one was nobody expects the Microsoft acquisition.
To think, dude, the company that made Skyrim and the company that makes Call of Duty are now just a Microsoft company. And they hate VR.
Argonians in Call of Duty and win. Khajiits in Call of Duty win.
Khajiits in Call of
That'd
Duty.
actually be a really sick crossover. Call of Skyrim.
Call of Sky.
I don't think you have any skooma on you, do you?
Ah, this thing.
Wireless
Yeah, I think I have
adapter
one of
for
those.
index. This is something new.
That's-
Penguin sent this to me, so let him intro it, I guess.
Okay, so this the reason why you could never get a WiGig module or one of these wireless modules on your index before is because the amount of bandwidth required to actually put the image through to your headset was too much for what we're gonna call WiGig 1. So you did have to turn the resolution real low, and turn on the refresh rate to like below what the index is rated for. So that is a WiGig 2 module, which allows for significantly more bandwidth, and you can actually, as long as they have the rights to do so, that's not the only headset they can put it on. You can literally just rip out the whatever optical cable you have for your headset, optical and power cable you have that's actually running into your PC right now, and just slap one of those bad boys in there with a battery, and now your headset's wireless.
Can we point out how the game that he's showcasing is Half-Life Alyx and not Boneworks?
So, do you know any of the specs, Papa? Like, does it support 144 at the max res, or?
Yes, so WiGig 2 over
Whoa.
there. Oh my god. Okay, so WiGig 2 is like 7 times more powerful than WiGig 1, or at least has 7 times more
Wow.
bandwidth. So that WiGig 2 modules, and I was going to reference this whenever we started talking about Pimax, because that headset's ridiculous. If they're gonna release it well. That's what it's using. So it's able to, I don't know what like the absolute maximum is, but oh boy. Let's see. I'm trying to remember.
Have they
what
said
the
anything about
exact
latency
bandwidth
on
is,
it?
But it's like, it should be relatively low. It was definitely lower than anything you get over Wi-Fi.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because I don't.
I mean, I was getting like
can't-
30
that's probably
milliseconds.
this
This box right here is
which
probably
isn't the
it.
worst,
This is
but
the
it was more than I wanted to
WiGig
deal with
module
on
right here that's
comp
actually
or pop.
transferring the information to that.
Like 30 milliseconds
I
of pop
had
is
this-
too much.
I had some lag when I was playing on my virtual desktop, but when I switched to Airlink, I had no lag when I was playing Pop.
That's impressive.
Or
I
it was
actually
my
haven't
fault.
tried Airlink, honestly. I did virtual desktop, and I mean, it was good, It wasn't bad. It was a really good experience. I think a lot of people would be fine with it, but for like competitive play, even in pubs, nah. I just didn't. Any extra
it's just 'cause
lag
Meta over there
has
is
nothing to do with it.
bought some like compression file wizards over there, and they're just kind of like, here, compress down like 5 gigabytes worth of information to like 64 megabytes. Do it, my slave.
I mean, I know
That's why.
the Vive WiGig module, that didn't really have any latency, but it also didn't have the same refresh rate and stuff like you were talking about.
Yeah, so it'll the latency will be the same as the WiGig 1 module, but you'll have excessively more bandwidth. Like pretty much just as long as you have the optic and the power input for whatever headset it is, you can literally just fucking strap one of those boys on. It doesn't matter what headset it
So like
is.
when do
That'll probably
they
support them.
might sell them? Because like I feel like if they're just now starting this, it might be too late by the time they have it to market.
No. This is
They announced this a long time
Yeah,
ago.
they said the product itself has been ready to go for a long time. The problem was getting it certified to be released. So there's a bunch of government stuff in the way to actually have it be released.
So basically, they wanted to make sure it didn't melt your brain.
Exactly.
No, they want to make sure it does melt your brain.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
it does.
Mhm.
Release it. They're like, it does melt brains. Send it out to the masses right now. So this is a screenshot of a leaked Quest 2 update, like a beta build, and it's showing something called Project Avalanche, or Enable Avalanche is what it actually says, and that's supposed to be a cloud VR service that Quest is going to launch, and that's a preview screenshot of it. I thought it would be kind of interesting to talk about in the context of like wireless, you know.
So
Just a
is
different
it
kind of
rumored to be
wireless.
like sort of compared to like Shadow PC style stuff, or are they just being like
Yes,
you can
that's
play
exactly what
Spike?
it is.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
interesting.
And what was the name of the other company that does something like this? Not there's Shadow PC, and there's also like it starts with a Q. What is the name of that company?
I don't know.
Hold on, I think I actually have it pulled up. Let me see. I may not though.
Well, while he's doing that,
Quiznos.
I'll explain why this has been a difficult thing for the past few years. So, you get a lot of latency introduced with something like this, so it's fine for like single player games. But once you
Plutosphere.
start
That's
trying
the
to
name-
play
that's the name
something
of the
like
other company,
Pop,
Plutosphere.
okay, once you start trying to play something like Pop on a remote PC, you get like an additional 200 milliseconds of latency because the information has to travel. So, TBH for multiplayer, cringe. Anything else?
Yeah, I feel like this will
Yeah.
be
Well,
something you
fair.
only use on single player games, and for people, I just feel like people are gonna get nauseous using cloud streaming on VR. I don't know.
Actually, I know of like 2 or 3 people that play through Shadow PC, and they say that, and one of them actually lives like right next to a data center, so they're like, so a lot of these people say they don't notice a whole lot of difference. Obviously, you can't play like competitive games like Pop on them, but I know like at least 2 people that play VRCHAT through Shadow PC and haven't had any.
See,
real
VR
issues.
chat
doesn't
though
matter
is
as
like a
much in
very
VR
it's a
chat,
very
though.
stationary
Yeah.
experience. Like
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I got like what?
I'm running 40 frames right now,
literally got,
and
like-
it feels fine. But if I was doing anything else at 40 frames, this would feel terrible.
Well, that's because we're always used
That
to
is
it.
true, yeah. That is also true. 30 frames in VR? Nah, it's fine. It's VR chat.
As opposed to like any newbie, you'd literally just stick them on a headset with 30 FPS and they just immediately vomit.
Well, it's the motion when you're
Well,
at low
funny-
frames or low latency, like or high latency.
Mhm.
You and you're moving a lot. It makes you sick.
Yeah.
In VR chat, you don't
Yeah, I
move a
got the
lot.
cumulonimbus removed from my head, so I don't get that anymore.
Mm.
Medulla
good.
oblongata, you know.
Even when you
Yeah.
played a little
You
bit of
literally got the
squadrons,
thing
and you're
that
sitting there
makes
doing
him
barrel
stand
rolls
up
over and
straight.
over.
Yeah.
He got the fluid
Yeah.
removed out of his ears, so he doesn't feel motion sickness anymore. What an absolute chad.
Another really good thing about
Small
like
sacrifices.
cloud gaming though, as far as VR, is we might get more high-end PC experiences. Because if we have the ability to play PC games on Quest, and we have PlayStation VR coming out, which is going to have, PC level quality on their VR titles, we're almost certainly going to get like a return of higher end VR stuff coming with all this stuff in the works.
That's a very good point. And depending on what the servers are running, like if they're not running like ARM stuff and they're just running like on Windows or whatever, then it's pretty much a no-brainer for any developers to make it available on PC. Because anyone who wants to play it on PC will, be able to buy it and give them more money that they wouldn't have access to otherwise.
Right.
So it just seems like a win-win across the board.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that made me think of? It's kind of unrelated, but I'll bring it up anyways. Is how the Steam Deck runs Linux? Because it's able to get so much more like performance out of the hardware using it. I feel like if Quest had done Linux instead of Android, they'd probably be able to run even higher end VR experiences on the headsets.
Let me spoil something for you. Android is Linux.
No, I know, but it's still not the same. Like the amount of like layers and shells, like I've actually sat in on some like developer like little conferences about this, and the somebody described it as like reverse engineering Android to become a VR platform instead of just making a VR platform, and that it just adds so many layers of software that are unnecessary. And that's kind of part of why Steam Deck is so good, is it doesn't have all those layers that Windows does, so it's able to run the games faster because there's less bloat, But it's a driver issue. People have to write, and Steam went through the trouble of making sure the drivers get, ported over. So it's a lot of driver software stuff that keeps people from wanting to do it.
And in that same vein, did you actually know that NVIDIA is going to be open sourcing a handful of their drivers?
I did.
So we should see better Linux support for all sorts of graphical stuff, which maybe Linux will become a more common VR platform as we go on.
I think Linux is going to become a more common gaming platform just because of the success of the Stream Deck. It's kind of proved. It's like a proof of concept, that if you were to use this, you can get more performance out of mobile hardware. So
you hear that, Linux users? You can finally say you did something better than Windows.
And yeah, for literally last 20 years,
only Linux does all sorts of things
AMD had open source drivers for Linux.
Linux is the name of that one guy from that tech show, right?
It's a penguin.
Yeah, Linux Tech Tips.
This is Linux the penguin right here. Linux Tech Tips. All right,
let's do subliminal messaging that we're sponsored by Linux.
Cat.
Let's move on to talking about everybody's favorite thing here.
Just sitting there.
What's that?
Population 1.
Locked and loaded.
Locked and loaded. So that shows all three guns. I mean, we all already kind of know. Everybody here especially.
Mm-hmm.
My only complaint is, I hope this one's got. Well, I got a few complaints. I hope that FAL over there's got an optic, and we're not just dealing with iron sights. Because
you're the only person that hasn't played it, right?
It has an optic.
Wow, you didn't play the playtest?
Yeah.
Papa?
No, because I have to work.
I mean, so do I, but I still have time to do things beyond work.
Maybe they work
working
when
like
the playtest is going on, Wolves. Jeez.
Wolves is so savage
both
about it.
times?
He's like, wow, Penguin, you have a life.
You have responsibilities
Man, I don't
outside
have
of the
one, so I just
headset.
assume everyone else
Cringe.
doesn't either.
Wolf's like, well, I have a life and do this.
Those are some guns. But this is what we were talking about. It kind of looks like COD. You could show me this picture and tell me this was a COD picture.
But
Yeah,
at the
if you
same
just kinda,
time,
block
Yeah, I
out
believe it.
this.
at the same time, like, dude, every season, and I know this isn't a season, but they might as well call them seasons. Every little seasonal update thing they do for Pop has a whole different vibe. Like,
Right, you
I
got
mean,
Cyberpunk for season 1, and then you got Western, and you got Kingdom, and then you got Cyberpunk again for Metropolis.
I was about to say Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk, but Vaporwave this time.
Vaporpunk.
Yeah,
they just got the Vaporwave Sun, so they didn't have to pay for the asset. No, I'm just kidding. Probably still had to buy it.
That's right, Meta can buy it
Did
for
they
me.
steal the sun
I think
in
I think the
Population 1.
Vaporwave Sun in general is like a license-free thing.
I can just imagine Bagel Bites just like scrolling down like free assets and just
Google
dragging the ones he
images.
wants into a folder. Yeah.
That's how they
this
fixed the
one, and then
tree
he just sent
issue. They just kept
those to the
trying
team, and
different
he's like,
free
"All right, guys,
trees.
figure it out." Speaking of the tree issue, I got shot through a tree today, and I was like, "Man, that guy's playing on Quest."
I know, right? Dude, it's actually really frustrating trying to snipe people on low settings because, like, I go to aim the sniper and I think I can shoot these people, and then, like, I scope in and walk forward a little bit, and all of a sudden a
there's a
whole
rock.
wall appears. I'm like, fuck, I can't shoot this guy.
Yeah.
He's actually covered up by a wall or a rock or a mountain or
The-
something.
The fun thing is it doesn't have to be low settings. It can just be high settings. The only settings that don't do that is Inferno. Like, I literally got myself killed in a solos tournament because I was trying to kill Clev over in the computer room in Metropolis. But little did I know that the desks hadn't rendered. So I was just shooting the side of a desk, wondering why I wasn't hitting him. And then I had like 3 people
You know
at
why you weren't
once
hunting
come
wolves?
PC advantage.
Because you're bad.
I mean, that was my first assumption,
Is
actually.
this a 1v1? Is this a 1v1 in the making? I want to see a money match.
I think I'd win, to be honest.
I bet
Like,
you
I haven't
$1.
played in months, but I still keep
You would.
Starwind's ass. Yeah.
You
Yeah, how
would.
about $10? $10. Let's see. Let's see. who
$10.
wins.
Honestly, I think as long as I have network advantage, I'll probably win. I think 1v1s come down to network advantage
I'm
unless there's
hearing-
like a big skill gap.
I'm hearing a little bit of a challenge here.
Yeah, I was about to say, Starwind, you really.
I,
You heard
just
it
let
here
me just
first.
make sure I have
I'll-
an
I'll
op.
cast it.
I've
I'll
learned
cast
that that's my go-to 1v1 tool is an op.
and you
a-
can't be
and a
streaming.
DT.
You can't be streaming either. You got to give yourself the maximum advantage, Starwind. Can't be.
I'll cast
at
it.
chat.
I'll cast it. He doesn't need
I
to
mean, I
stream,
have
I'll
a
cast it.
I'd play 30% worse when I'm streaming. It's been proven through stats.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, you probably need the 30% worse advantage, but it's okay.
I'm noticing. All right. Well, we'll schedule this. This seems fun.
So
I want to see this.
so what do y'all think about the
Saturday,
what do y'all
Saturday.
think about the
Saturday? No, I'm
the
busy Saturday.
guns? We'll figure it out.
Gotta
The RFB
say,
feels like
foul-
P90
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. but
What is
the
that,
AR,
dude?
well,
I
You
don't
think
even
you
know
think
what
the
this
Uzis
is.
feel like a
It's an
P90?
RFB. It's a
the
bullpup.
AUG.
It's got
Or you
the
think the
mag in back.
RFB
That's the
feels like
funniest
a
part is
P90?
everybody's gonna try to reload in the front, but the mag's in the back, so everybody's gonna.
My
mess up
quit,
that
like it
reload.
literally looks like they blended together. They took like 5 different bullpup rifles and they just kind of threw them in a blender and was like, "Here, gun."
You got the Uzis, which have a lot of ammo, but the recoil.
Don't those
goes-
look kind of big for Uzis? That's what I felt like when I was holding them.
Have you seen the original?
Yeah, it looks about right.
Did you see the original?
No.
It's literally without the stock. It's this long.
Oh wow.
And then the FAL.
And with the
is,
stock, it's
pretty
like
cool.
that. It's literally full.
And the fail's probably
Does
gonna
a
be
lot of
meta if they
damage.
don't nerf it.
The FAL is gonna
150
replace
damage and-
everything. Or the FAL is gonna be replacing a lot of guns.
If
in
they
the
don't
game.
minorly nerf it before launch or shortly
It
thereafter.
won't matter because you can head peek with it, and that's the number one thing.
I gotta
that's
say,
important.
the FAL's kind of a weird choice for me. I feel like I would have gone with like a G3. But
I honestly would have gone with anything that didn't shoot bullets.
Yeah.
A rocket launcher, a grenade launcher, a bow and arrow. Something like these are
I've
just
been
3
begging
guns,
for a
but they all
rocket
shoot
launcher.
bullets, right? I just want something that doesn't use bullets. Give me something that doesn't use bullets.
I want an impact grenade.
Give
Oh, they
give
have
us
the
a grenade
Matadors, too.
launcher
Matadors aren't here.
where you have to actually go pick up the grenades. Like, what if you had a grenade launcher as an item, but then you still needed to go pick up grenades, and it went into that item slot to fill the grenade launcher,
I can see it.
and it makes it where you can
I-
hold 3 instead of 2. You know what I mean, or something like that.
The Matadors got added again too, so you got the Matadors too.
And they feel
I
way
wonder how they'll
different.
hold
All the
against the
guns
DT.
feel way different. And honestly, I think that's
The
more
DT
interesting
got
than the guns
nerfed.
they added is how much they've rebalanced
A
everything.
lot.
Mm.
Yeah.
The DT
Yeah, like
does
completely
its old
just-
damage, so it does like 64 max per shot,
oh man,
and then the recoil is really heavy if you're not two-handing it.
Yeah, you're gonna be shocked, Penguin. You're the only one that hasn't played it. You're gonna be shocked at the recoil. Like, it's got more
Okay,
recoil
well, I guess the
than any
Matadors
VR
are
game I've
back in
played.
business.
Yeah,
They
the
nerfed
Matadors
Socko
do
to the ground,
seem
which is
pretty
funny.
good.
Oh yeah. Socko is
The
poop
Socko
now.
is useless. You don't even want to pick up a gold one. It's that bad.
I mean, especially
Did
with
they nerf the
the
damage or
fail.
something?
Yes, and they added more
Mm.
bounce.
Yep,
gold
they gave
is
it more
the only
recoil
one that
and
had
nerfed it by
shots
another
for more than
5.
100. No, they nerfed it by 10.
Oh.
Wait, what?
45, 50, 55, 60 is damage. They nerfed it by
Yeah,
10
it's
damage
it's
and
dead.
missions.
It's a
Oh
dead
my
gun.
god. Yeah, that's
Like
that's way too harsh of a nerf.
basically you have to like have nothing else to use and find a gold,
Pretty much, yeah.
and then you might
I mean,
pick it
almost
up.
any other gun would be better, and at long range, like,
And
I'd take a 1911
here's the
over.
ultra scam. Here's the ultra scam. They added basically hit scan into the game, right? So all of the weapons except snipers are hit scan.
Yep.
But if the Seiko was hit scan, I think it would still be on a live gun. But the Seiko still has sniper ballistics, so it still has travel time. So I think Seiko's not going to be used at all. Like if it had that hit scan mechanic, I think it would maybe be okay. But
Why use it over a Magnum like ever?
Yeah.
exactly.
Isn't it literally the Magnum does like 1 more damage, is what I heard, than a Socko? And holds 7 bullets, isn't bolt action.
Yeah,
What's
that is hit scan.
They just left it in
Seiko
the
was
game
they may
because
as well
they had
just,
to
they
for
may as well
skins.
just remove it.
See,
can't
the
really
funny
do
thing is,
that.
Papa, that
Skins,
brings
though.
up something I was going to talk about, is I think that, sort of like what happened with the M60s, they're planning on removing it from what I hear, but they release skins for it. Paid skins, and apparently you can get in a lot of trouble if you take that away from a paying customer, so they can't take it away. So what my theory is they nerfed these guns to the ground to make these guns the new babies. That's my
Technically,
theory.
they could still let you
there's
use
ways
it.
you could have fixed the guns, though, right? You could have made the Seiko old damage, but made it a lever action. Like you can add a new VR mechanic that like makes the gun cool. You know, you're requiring people to hold it with 2 hands, but you now got to like you can make guns in a way that like nerfs them or changes them, but still like makes people want to use the new stuff. I don't think you need to just make them garbage, but
I don't think so either, but Big Box has done some
I mean,
very
I don't
strange
think you.
things with
I
balance.
don't think you could call it the Seiko anymore, but okay. I mean, that still
Yeah, that's
works.
because it's pronounced Socko.
it's
You know,
85 actually. Her name
They
is
could have
Sadie.
left it in the game in
Mm.
a sense that like you can still use it in custom lobbies and stuff, and people can still like technically use their skins they paid for. So I mean, I guess
that
they,
requires you have friends.
yeah, but I mean, I wonder if
No, there's
legally
public custom lobbies.
if they still have it, you know, accessible in the game, if they could take it out of matchmaking games. Because
They
honestly,
just put it in the target
them
range, like,
having
it's
too
still in
many
the game,
guns,
guys.
it's noticeable with the spawning of weapons that snipers are harder to find because there's now less snipers in the total loot pool.
There's just now more guns in general, which is the
Right,
problem,
which
I
makes
think.
it harder to find snipers.
You want to know the thing that
Anytime
bothers me the most about Apex Legends? This relates, I promise. In Apex Legends, you now spawn into the like you used to not spawn in the game with shields or a helmet. Now you spawn in the game with a white shield and a white helmet. However, scattered throughout the world, there are still white shields and white helmets, which just clogs the loot table. And it's like the white shields you could argue because in Apex you can shield swap. So if you get in a fight, take a bunch of damage, you can like swap with the shield on the ground and get full shields.
Mm-hmm.
But the white helmet on the ground, it just clogs the loot. Like there's no point in time where you're not going to at least have a white helmet. Anyway, sorry.
Speaking of clogged loot, I really hope that the next thing that they try and update in Pop 1 is interaction mechanics. You know, like they've improved or tweaked gun mechanics in the map, and they've added new systems for ranking, and I feel like the next thing they should do is update inventory systems and interaction systems, because it's very frustrating to pick up stuff sometimes.
Mhm.
I wish you could lock items. People want to be able to swap inventory around. I think there's a lot of room
We've
for
been begging for
improvement
that one
in the
forever.
inventory department next. I think that's probably the next area of venture. Before we talk about ranking, though, I did want to ask, do y'all think that the recoil balance to guns is helpful to new players? Or do you think that it's going to hurt new players?
I think it's going to be very hard. Well, I think new players are going to do the exact same thing that they've always done. Pick up a CX4, a UMP, an M10 and use those guns.
You ain't wrong.
And they're going to pick up these guns that have a lot of recoil, and they're going to be like, I don't like that gun.
So
I'm gonna
the
CX4.
fail being meta though,
That's
the
exactly
fail's
why I didn't
almost
use
kind of
AKM.
CX4ish, but like good. So maybe they kind of like
Mm.
are almost putting that in
No.
there as a good gun for, or they're thinking that
How is
that
it
might be.
CX4-ish?
You don't think the fail is CX4ish at all? It's a single fire.
No, because it's
rapid
really.
single fire.
I don't know how fast you can shoot
Pretty
the
pretty
foul,
fucking
but
fast.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's gonna
fucking-
favor.
that's gonna favor more skilled players because they're the average players and out there just fucking going at it.
Like you've seen new players with matadors. They go like boop 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 boop. And, like,
I don't think
like,
it's crazy
bang,
to
like,
say that.
unloading
I
a
don't.
whole
I don't
mag.
think that.
They
I don't
even
think it's
pull
crazy
back
to
their
say.
hand while they're shooting.
I don't think it's crazy to say the fail is kind of like a tap fire high damage CX4 like in feel in a lot of ways.
how much damage does it do anyways?
2943.
And that is
Yeah.
not a joke. And you can fire
But
it so
but
fast.
on a
Takes 4
CX4.
shots to kill a build. Takes 4 shots
Is
to
it-
kill a
is it-
build.
Okay, well, then it's
It's basically you just
usually
pick up a
against build,
fail
so
and
if
just
you-
use it for everything except for maybe a shotgun.
Which means it kills faster than kills builds faster than everything except an M60. And the gold magnum or the magnum damage got changed because the magnum is stronger with hit scan for sure. But I don't know if the gold one hits for 100 anymore, so I don't know if the gold one will one-shot builds anymore. I will need to test that.
Yeah, the Magnum recoil felt silly, but I still felt like I could hit the shots all right with it.
Hey,
It feels like the wingman from Apex. It's got the. It,
Yeah,
feels,
it's-
it almost feels better. Like it looks funny, but it feels good.
Oh, that was my biggest, like, that was the thing that I liked the most about all the recoil and the gun adjustments, is everything felt beefy. Like, when I was shooting stuff, I was like, man, it feels like I'm really, like, Pop 1 originally kind of had, like, a chintzy feel to the guns, and now the guns feel beefy and robust.
They actually added a little bit of bass to the op, and I'm happy.
They
now.
tweaked,
Thank you.
it sounded
I
like
bet
they
that-
tweaked a couple sounds, and then the sounds for the new
I
guns
bet that
are
was
way
just
better.
in response to Javi's quote about the guns in this game feeling like wet noodles. I bet that's
They
exactly
do,
what
but
this
there was,
is.
I think there was also a benefit for
I bet
that,
that's
is
what-
that new players had a really easy time shooting them.
New players like wet noodles.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very easy to fucking get your mouth around it, instead of.
But I
like,
think new players will do all right with the fail. I think the P90 is kind of the same as it was. The ump is probably going to be more useful to new players than it
The
was.
weirdest part with the recoil is that the recoil pattern, so like the AK had like a lightning bolt pattern, the P90 had like a upwards and then it had a box. Like all these guns had like a pattern at the end of it. And now the guns go up, so like the AK, for example, it would go like up for like 12 bullets and then it would go down and then it would go like up at an angle, right? Now the AK goes really hard up for 20 bullets, which is the 1-star, right? But the weirdest part is once you start adding like 2-star, 3-star, 4-star onto the AK, it increases the bullet count. So what does the recoil do? Like the old AK would just do the same thing, right? It would go up, but it would keep going higher with that. So it wasn't too hard to manage. The MP5 would just go in a straight line. That's why the MP5 recoil was so easy. And when you had more bullets in the mag, you just keep pulling down at the same rate. Tested the MP5 and the AK. The MP5 and the AK after like MP5 for like 15 bullets and the AK for like 20. They do this. They go up, and then right when they hit that point, they go left and right really hard. So like it's almost like when you have a purple or gold one, you're just gonna get scammed because you have more ammo, but the recoil is impossible to like deal with once you have that much. Like,
that's
it's
the
almost better to
opposite
just
of what it
reload at
used to
20
be.
and
Yeah,
do it again.
that's kind of shitty, actually. Huh.
Yeah, so the higher rarities will, I almost guarantee, scam people more than they help people. Because the people will think, like, I have more bullets in my mag, but the accuracy is going to be so crazy that it's just a trick.
Because,
But
yeah,
at
in,
least
in
from
the
the
old
playtest
guns,
experience.
you could actually shoot past the recoil, and then you'd have steady aim. Especially in the really old builds. Because in the really old builds, there was no actual recoil. It was just straight up and down. But even the straight up and down would have a stopping point. You kind of hold the trigger down, and eventually it would stop doing anything. It would just shoot straight in the first version.
Yeah.
That's crazy, though.
I mean, that foul sounded real nice right now.
It is. It was very nice.
Yeah.
Ranked mode. Ranked mode. VR game with a ranked mode. Let's go.
Ranked.
It's
Is
exciting.
this the
right out
first?
right out
Is this the first VR game with a ranked mode?
Probably not.
Pavlov has a Discord matchmaking server, but that's not built into the game. There are a couple that have a ranked, or there's like one or two that have a ranked mode, but I don't remember what they are. Like, I pointed it out. I was like, is this the first one? And someone in my chat was like, no, you're stupid. Oh, Knock has one. Knock has a ranked mode.
What's that
Knock
game?
is, Quest. It's Rocket League VR on the Quest. The bow and arrow Rocket League game.
Okay.
That is ranked mode.
Gotcha. All right, so not the first, but maybe the first shooter, maybe the first mainstream game.
So one thing I feel is important to point out is I've heard so much misinformation about the ranking system, and so many people who were so certain about what they were saying. You do not get penalized for killing a lower tier player.
Yes, penal.
You get
Penal?
this amount of points based on your win or whatever.
Here, let's slide out of the way
minus
so
or
people can
plus
see it
the
all.
level of the relative rank difference.
Penguin move.
You do not get just default -7 points for killing someone that's a lower rank than you. You still get 3 points. In fact,
And if you guys have any questions about this, I went into like super big details with the devs on this too. So like on top of all
Yeah,
of
I'll
this
actually
stuff,
read
you
chat
can only
questions
get
right now if
rewarded-
people have any questions.
So on top of all of this stuff, you can only get points for the first time you kill an enemy. If they get revived and you kill them again, you do not get points again for that enemy.
Even in the
It's
same, so if it's in the
unique
same
enemies.
game,
Farming
It
is
It
irrelevant.
is unique enemies.
that's interesting.
People
Okay.
still farm.
So you can't really farm.
Farming is
Yeah,
now
people will still
irrelevant.
farm, but people won't. People can't farm for rank. They can only farm
can't
for
farm for
personal
points.
stats.
You're not gonna have like two
Leaderboard.
So
bronze
basically, they
level
can only
players just
farm
kill
for
each
all the
other over
reasons
and
that
over
they
in a lobby
have.
and get gold banana.
And
Random
all the
ammo.
reasons they have historically will still be there, but no new reasons to farm. Gotcha.
This shiny rank will not go up anymore from farming your fellow bronze teammate.
Your fellow bronze teammate.
However, you could hire Starwind, me, and Wolves, who will purposely die to you and give you that juicy +10.
'Cause we just need
your
money.
victory. Because we need to pay rent.
Well, I guess I'm just the newbie here.
Yeah, I
You
don't
also
think that I
don't
could
want to
actually
sell your
it's like
stats for
fight
money?
enough to
I'm
die
sorry.
on purpose.
I wanted you to stay above
Hi, I'm a
us.
top-ranked Pop
The
1
golden
player.
banana.
I'll die for you for $1 a death.
$1. That is the price of my
But you don't
dignity.
tell them that the farming thing doesn't exist. You have to get 100 points in one game. Why'd I only get...
So they're like
20,
$50
points.
deep and they didn't even know.
Sir, you just need to buy more.
Do you think they'll fix the XP system with this? Or do you think that it'll still cap your XP at like 4 kills or something?
They'll probably still cap you.
Yeah, I don't know why that would change.
A man can dream.
They don't want people to level too fast is the thing.
Yeah, they don't want me going
just
in
like-
like a Legion's lobby and getting 20 kills a game or something.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just like with this, like it's unique player kills, so you can only gain so much rank per game too. Like they don't want people to overplay their game to the point where you can immediately be the highest rank. You need to. People play for the grind in a lot of games.
And you know,
Like
that's
like
one thing
COD.
that the devs in
Add
Pop
COD
1 know
challenges to Pop
is they
1.
know that
That
because
unlock gun skins?
Gold PJ was a really, really serious grind. And a lot of devs might be scared to put something that's that hard to obtain in their game. And look how many people have it now, so...
Yeah, everyone and their mother.
Yeah, but it
Except for
took
me.
everyone and their mother a long time to get gold PJ.
It's true.
It still means a lot to a lot of people. A lot of lower
I
people
still-
still look
but-
at gold PJ and they'll
Best
literally spit on
idea.
you when they see your gold jacket.
Best idea for the next patch, though. You have people that have played the game for what will be 2 years by the time they next have a big patch, right? Add COD-style challenges. You know, get 100 kills with the AK, get 500 kills with the AK, get 1,000 kills with the, and then you unlock gun skins and you get additional XP. So all these people that are like starting the game off new will still gain XP, like up to the higher like XP people faster from getting extra XP from challenges. And also, I think gun challenges are a really easy way to preserve the playtime of your game.
It also gets
That-
players
that
more
need to grind
experienced with
out.
guns that they won't test, and sometimes that gun might be the best gun there is. Like the AK, a lot of players right now don't want to go try the AK even though it's the best gun. But if they had a little bit of reason to go use it, they might get used to it and then become a better player.
Right.
That is me exactly
then-
with the ump and the MP5. Just fucking, I don't even want to touch
And
them.
you add the COD style thing where it's like you finish all the challenges with the gun, you unlock like a gold version of that gun. And you unlock, but then if you do it with all of the SMGs, then you unlock diamond skins for all of them. So then people have a reason to go, use the other SMGs or other rifles. And then if you get it with all of the guns, you get like the fancy animated dark matter skin.
Speaking of
Animated
rewards,
skins in Pop 1 win.
what do you think
yeah,
of
flight trails.
Anime skins.
what do you think
anime
about
skins.
the rewards for ranked mode, the flight trails?
I think flight trails
pretty
is pretty
pog
cool.
reward.
They will. So after the first month, you'll be able to keep your flight trail through July, and then once the next ranked mode goes, the people that got to the high rank will keep the flight trail. So you only have your flight trail for like a month. Once you get that. However, the titles are really funny. The titles are exactly what we thought they would do, which is the funny part. So once you get to like Grand Banana. So you get to Grand Banana, which is the highest rank, which is really funny. But also, I like the Master Flight Trail more than the Banana Flight Trail because the Banana one's like gold and sparkly. But the
Yeah, I
Master
like-
one's
I like the
red
red lightning.
I'm like,
I
oh,
like
that's
that.
really cool. But what it'll do is you'll like have the first time you did it, Grand Banana, and you'll be able to use that as a title. And then the second month, if you do it again, you'll unlock it again. So it'll say Grand Banana X2. And then if you do it again, it'll have extra. So the number at the end of like the title just keeps getting longer based on like how many months in a row you've gotten the titles. So I think that's really funny.
So what happens if you
Grand
skip a
Banana
month? You're
18X.
just behind one, or you're probably just behind one.
Yeah,
goes
it'll
away.
just say X2. It'll probably just say X2.
It goes away.
I don't know how
You're
to-
cringe. You're bad.
So it's almost
You're
kind of
the
it almost
band,
kind of
actually.
reminds me of if you ever played Destiny, the Trials of Osiris. If
I don't
you
wanna-
were
I don't
or
wanna
even
talk about
Nightfalls,
Destiny.
you would go and
I don't wanna
play
talk about this now.
Trials, or he lost all of his loot. He would go and play Trials, or you would play Nightfall, and if you did it that week, you would get an aura like on your head or your armor, and you would lose the aura at the end of the week, and you'd have to do it again next week. So it's kind of like that, but on a longer time frame, which is cool. Hopefully every so often they come up with new, because they eventually have to
Did
do
chat
a
have any questions?
new season. No, not really. They just said LMLO dang. They're eventually gonna have to come up with a new ranking, after so many seasons. Did we have any other questions or any questions at all about anything? Pop 1, whatever. I don't think we have anything else after that. Yeah, that's it. How long have we been going for?
Oh yeah, we didn't.
Hour
Probably
and
about
37
5
minutes.
inches.
Hour and 37 minutes. So a little
Any
over.
other VR things to add?
Well,
Trying to keep
on
this
the
into an
on
hour
the,
is almost impossible. An hour and a half seems to be our mark.
yeah, we were supposed to talk about VR headsets and displays tonight, but
No, we weren't.
what are you talking
I
about?
got
That's
something.
literally
I got something.
No, I
got an
told
offer
you.
That might
I
be
told
really
you.
cool for
We
a lot
weren't.
of people in chat.
What
I
you
got
got?
reached out to by a VR lens company that said that they are interested in helping me get affiliated with them so that I can offer VR lenses. So anybody that has prescription lenses can buy these like $20 or $30 covers that go on top of your lenses that allow people to play VR without glasses. So I'll let you know.
Which
yeah,
is which is
really.
really
Those are
really
not
important.
comfy,
Definitely. Especially for the fact that like playing just with glasses in the headset in general, you can scratch the lenses, uncomfortable. There's a lot of people that say they like don't go to sleep in VRCHAT and whatnot because they're wearing glasses. And you're like, you don't like wearing contacts because you don't like going to sleep with your contacts in, right? So there's a lot of like small things that like would change. So if that goes anywhere, I'll let you guys know. So that's a kind of cool thing. I feel like more
Yeah.
companies are reaching out to people talking about like sponsors or like potential opportunities now for VR and things like that. So it's cool to see that VR is growing a little bit.
Yeah, and glasses and VR is a big thing. My wife has issues with glasses and VR. And then last week we had Chaos on. She scratched her index and was VR-less for almost 6 months to a year because she wore
Ooh.
glasses. she had to fix her own headset. Basically, she had to order the lenses and take apart her index and replace it. But yeah, if you want to see more about her repair story, I actually have like a separate clip on the VRCast clips channel. So, but yeah, that's it. Does anybody have anything before we
VR
close
stuff?
out?
Pop-Out Update goes live on next Tuesday. There's a couple VR games that were coming out this week, or like right around now, weren't there? There's a couple.
There's a Zenith update coming
experiences.
soon, isn't there?
There is a big Zenith update coming out soon. Yeah, I'll for the next podcast.
You
I'll
sounded so reluctant, Starwind. You're like, there.
I'm like,
there's one. Yeah.
Zenith. I'll definitely be interested.
Zenith just
in
needs
that.
fishing. It's not that hard, Zenith. Add fishing. No one would stop playing your game if you had fishing.
Oh yeah, somebody in chat, Zero Ryu, was interested in those lenses.
Zero Red Keto.
Sumachi might be
welcome in.
sponsored by them soon, so check out his channel as well if you're not already following him.
Use his
I will post
affiliate
it on
link.
Discord. I will post in my Discord server in the next couple. I'm just checking a couple of things before I accept, because T's and C's and all these companies like to, like when I did the HelloFresh stuff. The HelloFresh stuff was all great, but there's so many like fine print. Like if you do this, you cannot, have any affiliation with any other sort of meal plans for this amount of time, even after you. Like there's so many like small.
Was it
T's
through
and C's
Stream
that are
Elements that you got the
really
HelloFresh
hard.
offer, or
It was, yes.
okay? Was the prescription lens? Was that through like a YouTube comment or
No, they actually reached out to my
email?
my professional VR email.
Gotcha.
I think they either found me through Twitter or through my my YouTube page, and they reached out to my professional VR.
I had a it's actually today actually. I had a VR head strap company leave a comment on my YouTube asking for my email. So we'll see. I don't know.
Across all of us, we might be able to build something for like 5% off. Got the head strap, got the lenses,
With
yeah,
our
just trying to
parts
control the glitch
combined.
inside of it.
I know we could build it and then submerge it in glitch energy drink, and yeah.
With our
It'll be
powers
dead.
combined,
Baptize
we
the
can make
headset.
some kind of. Oh, I have the case. I got an extra toaster. We can throw it all in that.
There we go.
All right. Good night, everybody. I'm gonna end it, and we'll put this up on the main channel. I think my eyes are closed right now. We'll put this up on the main channel, and then we also have a clips channel. So it's VRCast and VRCast clips. If you want to go back and see the
You should take a selfie.
VOD.
Yeah, I did.
VRCast clips would probably be easier to watch for sure. All right. Night, everybody.